So winter is coming back. We all know this. This time of year, there's a big push to winterize your homes and farms and vehicles, to be as prepared as possible to not let any cold in or let any heat out. We also find ourselves, or are going to find ourselves, in the frenzy of buying Christmas gifts and planning parties and family gatherings and making sure that everything is perfect and flawless, making doubly sure that everything goes exactly to plan. Similar to this, as I've told you before, I spent the past summer at an addiction treatment center for priests and religious. My counselor and I did a ton of work there, going over the wrongs and failings of my past, made plans for the hope and joy of the future, and practiced ways to always live in the present moment. But in my counselor's estimation, there was still something missing in my treatment. A kryptonite of some sort. A hole in the wall, a weak spot in my armor, an Achilles heel that could one day bring me down. But at the risk of getting wrapped up in more and more analogies, this advice from my therapist led me to walk around and around my defenses, kicking the proverbial tires and trying to find that one missing piece. I am the master of my house, and I am determined to not let it be broken into. But how arrogant of me to think there was only one weak spot. There could be many. There probably is. Regardless, building up my defenses and strengthening my borders caused me to hyperfixate on eliminating any and all weaknesses, to be as strong as possible and keep out everything bad. But having such an impenetrable fortress will no doubt keep out the good as well. We have many images and portrayals of Jesus, such as the Good Shepherd or Christ the King, the Sacred Heart, baby Jesus in the manger. But today's gospel invites me to a more controversial image, Jesus the thief. The Gospel of Matthew says, "Be sure of this, if the master of the house had known the hour when the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into." If we follow this analogy, Jesus is describing himself as a thief in the night, robbing a house. You can almost follow the analogy to the image that somewhere around the castle wall, out of the view of the guard tower, there is a weak spot to gain entry. And the thief knows the castle walls like the back of his wounded hand, and any lapse in my defense is an invitation for him to break in and rob the place blind, leaving plenty of room for increased faith and love. So even if I can't identify all of my weak spots, I know that Jesus the thief already has. He's already scoped out the walls of my defenses. He wants to break in and rob me of my false security, my ego, confidence in myself alone, and of anything that keeps the Father's love out. I believe that being robbed is the best thing for me. I'm not the first to fall victims to this thief's burglary. St. Paul himself was robbed by Jesus the thief on his way to Damascus. His hatred, his judgment, and his self-centeredness was taken away from him. So was his snooze button on his alarm clock, apparently, because he tells us in the letter to the Romans that now is the hour to wake from sleep. Isaiah also was robbed of his fear when he was called to become a prophet. He says that our spears and our swords and weapons will be willingly given to the thief in exchange for farm equipment. Violence will be robbed from us, and only peace will remain. If the master of the house had known the hour when the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. So on a good day, I like to think that I am vigilant and watchful, torches lit all night, waiting for the master's return. But on days when I'm closed off, defensive, and unwilling to be moved by God's good grace, I need and I invite Jesus the thief to find any entry he can into my heart and at any time that he chooses. Outside of Holy Mass, I do not know the hour that the thief will break into my house, and neither do we. But this hour, right now, is the time to wake from sleep and invite Jesus, the thief, into your heart, to rob you of anything that keeps God's love out. He has the perfect disguise, too, a little white host taken into the mouth. And with just a little faith, this is all the openness that he needs to enter into your house, your heart, your body, and get to work robbing you of everything that takes up space and keeps God's love out. So, with all of our perfect plans for Advent and Christmas, the busyness, the frenzy, and the stress, there is danger that we don't leave room for God's unpredictable good grace to surprise us. And with this Eucharist today, I pray that whenever and however Jesus the thief chooses to break into our hearts, through the open front door or just a small crack in the back wall, that we may be receptive and welcoming to his holy will, his love, and his peace. Amen.